Hi, lovely. Welcome back to Outdoor Exploration. This is our Friday chicken and farm update. Well, family food farm. And it's not been a great week. So I decided to not hide all the bad things, which is easy to do. Just tell you about all the great successes and talk about what's going on for us at the moment, which is not actually any different than what happens to everybody who's growing things, but you know, there are always some negative things. And I promise it's not going to be a super depressing video, because at the end I will show you my favorite salad, which coincidentally it is also time for. However, first things first, this morning, well, yesterday my son potted up a bunch of lovely, beautiful lilac offshoots that we had to sell. We got all kinds of people coming to get them. We set them outside, well, he did, outside the gate, and within half an hour a deer had come and decimated all of them. This is what remains. We clearly aren't selling them anymore. So that was a failed experiment. Hopefully we'll manage to grow some of them back, and who knows. Also, in chicken land, things are progressing. We have 30 birds, so we knew that some things would go wrong. Luckily, no predators have hurt them. They don't have any serious diseases that we know of. However, two of the ones who were supposed to be Jersey Giants, and probably aren't, because they have feathering on their feet. This is one of them. Can we show her? So she has this feathery feet. So the breeder tells me that probably means she's in fact not a Jersey Giant, but an olive egger, which I think means she was crossed. This one has had a prolapsed vent for a couple of weeks, which we've been dealing with, but over this past couple of weeks it became more than just what looked like a prolapse. And prolapses usually come from laying eggs. These pullets, or it might even be a cockerel, we don't know, are nowhere near laying eggs yet. So that in itself is strange, and basically it prolapses every time this chicken poops. So, and over the last couple of weeks, the prolapse has had a larger and larger little lump in it, which is now about 1.5 centimeters diameter, rather firm. And what I think was a sister of this one also had feathery legs. By the way, the breeder offered us to refund us for these birds. I declined because, you know, that's part of raising animals. You don't know, with 30 birds you're going to have something go wrong. But that other one, if you looked in the video from last week, I was holding her saying there's something wrong with this chicken. It seemed to be weak. And that night I brought her in to sleep with us, and she slept in our room with us for 5 nights, I think, and maybe 6. And her problems became worse and worse and worse. And finally I discovered a little lump in her leg up by her hip, which was growing, and over the days I could tell that it got bigger, and she got weaker and weaker, to the point where, despite us doing everything, she was secluded from the other birds. We gave her vitamins, food. I hand fed her many times a day and at night, and as the days got further along, she was in more and more agony. Well, some people take their chickens to a chicken vet, which we could do if we wanted to drive a couple of hours and take a ferry and, you know, spend hundreds of dollars on each bird. But that's not our plan. In the wild, that wouldn't happen either. And so we had to put her down. And there were a couple of nights it took me to admit that that's what had to happen before I finally did it. And it was very hard. And there is a chance that'll have to happen with this one. I haven't quite accepted that yet. So for now, we're still just cleaning her. Her vent gets pretty messy, and we just hope it's going to work out. You have to leave. Go on out. There's a chicken. Thank you. No, out. Go on.
The chicken's getting all
This is
attention.
Looney. Looney would like to participate, and no. I bet you if you see what she's going to have, you won't like it. Look. Yeah. Yeah, see, I thought so. So with that, here's a little demonstration of how to clean your chicken's vent. Some people actually hold their chicken in a towel. This one hates that more than she hates just being flipped over. When you turn your chicken upside down, they just calm down. So it's sort of almost a defensive measure. I advise you that this isn't going to be gruesome because her vent is not prolapsed at the moment. The tumor isn't sticking out, but it'll be a little gross. There will be some poop there, and we're going to wash it off. And so, you know, if you hold her like that, you're going to be soaked. Okay. Yes, it's time for your cleaning. So you can actually soak your chicken in the water. You can just set them down, but this we find easier because it means that, well, first of all, she is getting a soak because I'm going to keep running this water over her for quite a while. And you can see her vent is looking okay, but she always has this crusty poop on there. Basically, the tumor or whatever that lump is inside there that's keeps coming out is also keeping the poop from coming out, and so there's always crusty poop on there. So what I'm washing her with here, yes, I know it feels so funny, is warm water with antiseptic soap in it. And you know, anybody who has pets should have antiseptic soap at home for cleaning wounds or whatever happens to your pets or farm animals. Yeah, we still have the water. You should go. Please don't terrify our chicken. Yeah, hi Looney. She's a little concerned. And basically, that's all we're doing is just going to clean this up. Get it from around here.
It's okay, she's not going to attack you.
I think she's gone. Oh, sort of. No, don't worry. Don't worry, honey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know. Calm yourself. We're almost done. If you have to do something like this alone, you can hold a towel or something on your lap and put it over their head. Some chickens, that calms them down. This one really, really hates it, but there we go. And so this is the antiseptic soap. I have it in an unmarked bottle that I got from a vet a while ago. And it's concentrated like dish soap, so you just can mix it with warm water. There are all kinds of brand names for it. You see people talk about Vetericin a lot. I can't remember any other names, but there are a bunch of types. Some of them are pink, some are blue. And this is actually just an antiseptic wash for people, but it's fine for birds too. And I'm just going to use it because the washing and the prolapsing actually makes her skin a little raw. And, oh dear, who's fighting?
Some chocolates.
Oh. And so I'm just going to clean up her vent. For people who don't have chickens or other birds, the reason it's called a vent is because they actually only have one opening. That's where their poop and eggs both come out. And there you go, lovely. So that's life with an upside down bird. Would you like to get up and go back home?
She's all relaxed.
I think she would like to get back up. Let's take her back.
I think she's too wet. She'll get too cold because there's no sun there to dry off.
No, we're going to put her in the sun.
Oh, okay.
And, oh, you're right, the sun has left.
Yeah.
You might have to put her in the front of the coop.
Oh.
So,
you guys don't make fun of sun.
Go on in. I don't know if she wants to be called Soggy Tail.
Well, it's so droopy right now.
Yeah, I know. It'll dry. That's why we do this in the afternoon when it's sunny. Otherwise, we might have to blow dry her, and that's not pleasant. So, while we're here, I'll point out that we finally got part of their new run finished. We, including a lot of help from the kids. This is, I don't know, what is this place like? 9 by 12 feet, something like that. And that's part of their run. They're still going to have more out here, which we're working on presently. And we're working on the rooster lodgings over there / brooding pen. So yeah, as they're growing, they're needing more space. Now, I have been washing a chicken vent, so I am going to go change my shirt and wash my hands very well. And I'll get back to you in my vegetable garden in a minute. Okay, I have cleaned up. I'm in my salad garden, and next to Rhiannon over here, who is pulling periwinkle out of the vegetable garden, the side of the garden, in preparation for it to become the rooster coop. Periwinkle is one of many things that are poisonous to chickens, and while they mostly avoid eating things that they shouldn't eat, it's easier to keep them out of there, and also we can build the fence better once it's gone. So that's the noise you hear behind me, and I am here to get some of my favorite salad greens, which are these little red blushed ones. I don't even know what these are because I've been harvesting some of my own seeds for a few years, and they're probably mixed at this time, but pretty good. I'm just gonna get a few of these because they are not the main component of my salad, just part of it. This is some iceberg lettuce we have here, but we're leaving it to grow bigger. And I'll just take a few of the ones that are threatening to bolt. And then some little bit of kale blossoms, which I'll save at the side for my garnish. This whole business of having to put down the chicken was so miserable, and I seem to do some kind of cooking when I'm sad, and yeah, so let's just call this sadness salad. Rhiannon was making fun of me and all my sadness cooking, but you know what? Making good food somehow relieves me. So here we go. So this is like one of the main two components of my favorite salad. It's fresh marjoram, which, if you've never had it, is so incredibly sweet and soft and light tasting. I, like most things, just pick it straight out of the garden, dust any insects away before I do so, and then I take the tips. It can spread pretty fast. So I actually, when it starts blooming later in the year, I take all the flowers off. But right now, the tips are perfect. And the more you pick the tips, the longer it takes before it blooms, of course. So I would say I put the same amount or more of this than I put of lettuce. It's quite mild, the flavor. I think one of the most important things about garden food is the fact that we know where it came from. I mean, really know, not just are aware of, but like your fingers know the feeling of it. You know how it smells when you're busy picking it in the garden. You know what you put in the soil. You know how it's going to grow after this picking. Yeah. And it's like a whole body, whole mind experience, which I think, actually, that's why we're raising chickens, because it's important to me that if we're going to eat meat or eggs, we know how the birds were raised, we know what food went into them, we know what their personalities are, that we cry when we have to put them down. And seriously, I mean, it was a horrible day. It's not the first time I've had to put down an injured or sick bird, but it's still horrible. It's never not horrible. You don't just get over the sadness of farming. But that's life. You know, we're all going to lose people we love. We're going to lose our dreams. We'll lose so many things. But you take the good, like this salad, and you take the bad, and it's you appreciate that it's life. So let's finish this sadness salad, which really will be happiness salad, of course, by the time it's done. This is the strawberry patch. Sometimes I would throw strawberries on here, but we don't have any ripe ones right now because of all the rain. But I am just going to throw on a little tiny bit of lemon thyme, which is so amazing. Such an amazing smell. And I just take a few of the tips with the flowers and sprinkle them on it. It's super powerful, so I don't put a whole lot. And something like that. Okay. And over for the most important part of this salad. Should we put some clover blossoms? I'm scavenging as I go. Truly, this salad actually normally would just be maybe lettuce, definitely marjoram and rose petals, which we're getting to. But you know, with so many other lovely things, why not throw them in? Okay, this is one of my most favorite plants in the whole world. I've had this rose in my parents' garden since I was a little girl. They actually rescued this rose from an area that was about to be flooded by a dam up at on the Arrow Lakes in BC. And the communities were abandoned there before they flooded that area. And they found this rose growing there, which we often refer to affectionately as a moss rose, but I have done some research and I believe it to be an old French damask rose of some type. There's something called a rose de Recht, which might be like this, but the photos I've seen look a little bit more red. Anyway, it smells like a damask rose. It tastes like a damask rose. You can make rose oil with it, rose water, and you can eat it. It's amazing. So, this is the first day that there are some roses opening, and as I look inside carefully, because they often have rose crab spiders in them, and this one, oh no, this one doesn't, but this is when you want them. And by the way, you can eat any rose petals, but some of them taste amazing and some of them taste like nothing, so you'll just have to see for yourself. And oh my god, I can smell it from here. It's amazing. So like I said, I check for bugs before I pick it, but then I don't wash these or anything. Oh, see, there are a couple little tiny bugs on this. And truthfully, we probably eat so many insects anyway, I'm not concerned about it unless I can taste them, and they taste bad. So, here's one. Alright, before all my petals fly away, oh, I'll put my little garnish on that I had. Oh my god, so good. Who can feel sadness when you have a salad like this? Okay, so I already made this dressing, but this is my favorite dressing. Okay, balance plate. To have on a salad like this. Oh, it's kind of separated, so you can sort of see. It is approximately 1/3 honey, 1/3 lemon juice, just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of apple cider vinegar, and 1/3 grapeseed oil. And you can play with that. Sometimes I throw a little bit of mustard in, but basically it's like lemonade salad dressing. So really what we're having is rose lemonade salad. Oops. Mmm. The rose petals are just a little bit bitter with the flavor of the rose too. And once in a while you get a taste of the lemon thyme. And the greens are just green and fresh and fabulous. I suppose you don't want to watch me eat forever and ever. So go out in your own garden and make your own lovely salad or into the wild and see what you can find. And happy exploring.